the second video of this series, we'll be moving from the outside of the walls of the QZ through to the Capitol building. This part of the game introduces us to some clicker-heavy encounters and our first safe. We also have our first bricks and bottles encounter, so I've done a mini-guide looking at some of their practical uses. And as with the previous video, I've included more alternative and out-of-bounds footage.
Oh shit. Tess. Run.
Run! Go! Go! Move!
So the encounter through the trenches is pretty straightforward.
I got 2 dead uniforms. I repeat, I got followed.
Initially, follow Tess and avoid the spotlight.
Alright, Ellie. When I give you the signal, we run.
Signal, run. Got it.
Now, run. Stay away from those lights. Ellie, it's gonna be another sprint. You ready?
Sure. Yeah.
At this point, wait until Tess moves before moving. The only marginally difficult part in this encounter is when you leave the pipe. Wait next to the wall for the guard to look away, move underneath him, wait for him to look away again, and then move into the pipe that is opposite.
Unless we're told otherwise, just keep scanning.
Stay down, don't let him see you.
How we doing?
You see anything?
Clear back here. Have a look up ahead.
So far, so good.
At the top of this section, a guard will appear. Wait for him to leave, and then keep moving.
I hear him up ahead.
It's gotta be those fucking Fireflies Italians. We'll be done with them soon enough.
Hold up.
Shh, stay there.
Go, go.
Fuck it. Let the clickers get them.
We can get through here. Down there.
Come on, Ellie.
The key to this encounter is to only move when Tess moves. So follow Tess from the concrete block all the way across into the building.
There's so many of them out here. How are we supposed to get past them?
I ain't spotted us yet. Let's go around.
How's it look?
It's too many, Tess.
Oh, man.
When you get to the unit, crouch between Tess and Ellie.
Oh, shit. They're in here with us.
See if you can distract him.
All right.
When the guard moves behind the unit, Tess will move. Immediately follow her to make it across the gap without being seen.
See more lights?
Wait behind the sandbags and slowly move around as the guard moves past.
Up there.
Head over to the truck and then exit the encounter.
they gonna follow us down here?
We ain't sticking around to find out.
The purpose for this encounter is to introduce new players to another infected type, clickers. The encounter itself isn't difficult. Simply move around the desk slowly and head towards the boarded off stairs. Clickers are blind, but they are highly sensitive to sound, so if you move too fast near them, they will trigger to your location. There are various ways to kill clickers, which will be discussed throughout these videos. By far the easiest method of dealing with them is simply to avoid them. Clickers are strong, and they will kill you instantly if they get hold of you. They also have an echolocate ability, which occurs when they lean forwards and release a long scream. If you are in line and in range of this scream, the clicker will trigger and chase you. You can test a clicker's response to sudden sound by throwing a brick or a bottle. Make sure you place the throw as far from you as possible, as this will allow you to move faster.
That's our way out. Over this scaffolding.
I'll go check it out.
When you first drop into this encounter, turn around and wait next to the door. If you move forward straight away, the runner in the corridor will see you and trigger the area. When this runner is moved out of sight, turn around, head around the corner, and choke kill the runner that is in front of you. When you are performing a choke kill, you can move the camera around, and this allows you to scan for potential threat points. Move over to the wall and choke kill the next runner after it stops. The clicker in front of you is passive, so you can leave it till last. This little technique I call an ambush, and I use it all the time in part 2. It involves sitting just out of sight next to a movement path, and then spamming the triangle to initiate a grab. As mentioned previously, the easiest way to deal with clickers is to avoid them, but this clicker will trigger if you try moving the drawers to exit the area. So as shivs are scarce and grounded, your next best solution for dealing with a clicker is using a throwable to stun it, and then killing it with a melee weapon.
Take point, I'll watch the room.
So the game so far has allowed you to experience clickers in an easy to manage way. This changes with this encounter. There are also a handful of resources to collect here, and a safe to open. There is a shiv in the lockers to your left, and you will need this for the clicker next to the exit. When you have a throwable equipped, the game uses an auto-lock-on feature to assist with throws. You'll see the cursor snap to an AI when it is in range and in line of sight. I use this feature in part 2 to let me know if an enemy is nearby before moving, and it could be used for the same purpose in part 1. Be careful when jumping through windows that have broken glass in the bottom of the frame. The glass will break, and if soft triggers nearby infected, you'll head towards the origin of the sound. you get too close to runners that are eating, they will trigger. But even though they've seen you, you still have a small window in which you can grab and kill them. The initial sound they make won't trigger any nearby infected. The code for the safe can be found in this shop. You can approach passive runners from any angle and at full speed whilst crouch walking. If you come across a safe and you don't have a code, you can still open the safe. The correct number for the combination will make a different clicking sound than an incorrect number. Before moving on for the exit, make sure the clicker in the corridor is walking away from you.
Out of this, come on. Shit.
Joel, over there, on your left.
Use your shift to kill this clicker. Any other method will trigger the encounter.
Alright, come on.
In this area there are 3 passive runners to kill using the choke kill method before you can move the cabinet out to the truck.
Here we go. Tess.
The museum encounter consists of 2 parts. The first part is fixed path with 3 clickers, and the second part is fully triggered with runners. There are resources behind this locked door, so use a shift to open it. Be aware that the clicker in the corridor can still detect you if you move too quickly in this room. Use the following path to move past this clicker and through the double doors. If you don't have a brick on you, pick this one up as you will need it shortly. It is worth playing it safe here by waiting behind the door for the clicker to move past before heading up the stairs. This runner can be choke killed, so stay to the left of the corridor to avoid being spotted. So, before we start the second part of this encounter, we'll take a quick tour of the area in slow motion so you can see where all of the throwable objects are. There are 3 bricks and 3 bottles that you can pick up throughout the area, which is handy as there are a total of 7 runners that need to be killed. Bricks and bottles are the bread and butter of this game and can be used for several purposes. In encounters like this, they are used to stun enemies at range so you can cover ground to kill them with a melee attack. Or up close for the same purpose. You can also kill enemies through repeated blows, and this only applies to the brick in an ambush style close quarter situation. The bottle cannot be used like this as it breaks after the first hit. As do bricks if you use them in the normal way. Using a throwable also preserves the lifespan of a melee weapon by reducing the number of strikes needed to kill a low-level enemy like a runner. When you use a throwable, it takes 1 strike to kill. Without, it can take 2 or more strikes. You can also kill enemies quickly by using a throwable to stun one, then killing the second, and then killing the stunned enemy. This is what that looks like at normal speed. The final use is for distracting enemies, and I will show examples of that in the next encounter. So, when the cutscene ends, equip the brick and stay to the left of the door.
I'm fine.
Guys, get in here!
Girl!
The path I take here works consistently on multiple runs, as it takes you past most of the throwables that you can pick up. The Capitol building encounter consists of 3 areas. The first is fixed path, The second is what I call a magnetic encounter, where the AI by default moves to your location, and the third is a randomised patrol area. After picking up the rifle, Federal guards will enter the area, so hide behind the pillar to your left.
What do we do? Joel?
I got this.
The exit point guard enters, stands at this spot for a short period, and then moves out of sight to your right. You can move forward and hide behind the cabinet, but this causes a randomisation of the first guard's route. Waiting here behind this pillar always causes the first guard to move towards you. As the guard approaches, shepherd his movement around the pillar and then make the kill at this point. If you kill him any sooner, then the guard at the exit can spot you.
Holy shit.
Now move to the cabinet to check where the second guard is on his route. If you wait by the door, the exit guard will spot you. When he moves out of sight, head into the room and wait at this spot. When he heads back into the next room, follow him and perform a choke kill. If you perform this kill too close to the door, the third guard can spot you.
Stay with me, come on. Damn it. Stay with me, come on. Run out!
The third guard is killed in this small side room. To kill the exit guard, use a throwable to stun him and then rush in and perform a melee kill.
Alright, come on, Ellie.
Right behind you.
There are other throwables here, so pick one up as you'll need it for the next area. Now, it doesn't matter where you sit in this next section, all the guards will move towards you.
What are we doing? Joel, how are we gonna get out of here?
Alright, we're gonna go through that hall. Stay down, I don't know how many more there are.
Have to come through here.
Best place I found to start is the side room to the right, as this seems to funnel the guards to you one by one. If you hide in the entry room, they will all head towards you at once, which can result in you being spotted.
Report. Not clear. North clear. No target. Hold your positions.
Drag the first guard to your right to prevent the body from being spotted by one of the guards in the final area.
Damn it.
There is a degree of luck needed here, as you can be spotted. After you've made this kill, stay in this room and check both doors to see from which direction the third guard is approaching from. Now, you can go for the third guard here, but I found it more effective to wait for him to leave and then to move to a part of the level where you can't be seen when making the kill.
Oh, God.
Watch your asses! Another body over here! Search the perimeter!
As you can see by that slight turn, guards will hit points on their route and then turn randomly. They will either keep on moving or turn and spot you. The third and final area has 3 more guards, but whilst their path is random, they remain in these final 2 rooms. The following scenario demonstrates the third use of throwables.
Right there. Did you see that? Let's check it out.
If you cause a soft trigger, as I do here, use your throwable to quickly distract the guards.
Who's there?
This diverts their attention away from you, which allows you to move to a safe spot. As choke kills take 7 seconds to complete, and cooldowns for soft triggers usually take 5 seconds, going for the kill here would trigger the remaining guards. But in areas with better cover, using a throwable to distract an enemy and then performing a choke kill is a valid kill method. Now to exit this area you can either run, which will result in you taking damage, you can fight your way out, which will waste ammo, or you can use a touch of luck and some well-timed choke kills. The only way I managed to get this third method to work was to use this part of the room to make the first kill, move back out into the hall, and then when the timing is right, move into the side room to kill the remaining 2 guards. A degree of timing and luck is needed for the first kill, and I'll be honest, 90% of my runs resulted in a trigger at this particular point. If that happens, drop back into one of the other rooms and wait for the guards to cool down and resume their patrol paths. To give you an idea of how guards move through these areas, here is a sped up top-down view of their movement paths. The timing that I'm looking for here is that as the target guard is moving away from the door, I need one guard to be in the side room and the other to be moving away towards the exit. Once the kill has been made, go back into the hallway and wait for the dead guard to be discovered.
They're still here!
The cooldown period when a dead body is discovered is fairly short, and unlike a soft or a hard trigger where pathing changes occur, enemies will go back to their normal routes. When the remaining guards are in the main room, move into the side room and wait behind a bookcase. Again, you will need a touch of luck as both guards can enter this room and they do on occasion check behind the bookcases. As with the last kill, wait for the dead body discovery to occur and then kill the last guard.
Son of a bitch. What the hell?
Joel, there's the exit.
I see it.
This final small encounter is fairly straightforward.
Place is empty.
Once the cutscene finishes, use the chairs as cover and make your way to the opposite side of the platform.
Fine, let me get the hell out of here before any clickers show up.
Both guards will move forward towards your starting point, so remaining there will cause you to be discovered and trigger the area.
Fuck. I'm not here.
Ops, I'm in the subway entrance. The tunnel's clear, no sign of targets.
Roger that. Stay put and await further instructions.
Copy that.
When the first guard is behind the fungus, move out of cover and make the kill. The second guard will eventually spot the body, and when he does, move in behind him and perform a choke kill.
Oh, God.